All right.
My friend Mohammed Barakat, thank you so much for spending a few minutes with me today. And Eid
Saeed. Eid
Eid
Fitr Saeed.
Fitr Saeed, which means
Yeah.
the Ramadan is over and you can eat again. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
Mohammed, I and a number of my friends are watching with great concern what's happening in Palestine and Israel-Palestine. We were for a while very worried about Sheikh Jarrah, Silwan, and so on. Very frustrated that our own government was not saying anything about it. We were sending letters, doing things. And then in the last, I think that we were making some progress. But then in the last couple of days, with all the Hamas rockets, all the conversation here has turned from the poor Palestinians being expelled from Sheikh Jarrah to poor Israel being attacked by Hamas. So from our point of view, I don't understand why Hamas would do it. I don't understand. It seems to me to be counterproductive. I know for a fact we have to put some background noise. It's going to be a bit of Mohammed,
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
I got to stop.
No, don't worry. Now, okay. Now you have to understand. There's two different, we call it two kinds of lives that we have it as Palestinians, or three kinds of lives that we have it. We in the West Bank, we have the Palestinian Authority, which the Palestinian Authority had the chance to organize the daily life of the Palestinians in the main cities in the West Bank, and they don't have the power, even though that we have life in the West Bank, we have income, people could go around and they could travel, but the only thing that we don't have security. People who are traveling from one city to another city, they could pass through the checkpoints, even settlers attacking them while they are passing through just the roads. They could not feel secure. Now, the people inside Israel, the Palestinians who are living in Israel since 1948, even though that they are citizens of Israel, but they could feel the discrimination against them. They are not also have, even the last 2 years, the Israelis parliament, the Knesset, have new regulations which shows that Israel is a Jewish state. Even they are citizens, they don't have the same rights. That also opens that they have a lot of discrimination against them. They have been serving in Israel, and all that comes that they don't have the same rights. Now, the third kinds of life that we have the Palestinians who are living in Gaza Strip, which they are completely isolated. Those are the people who are completely in a big prison. Now, over there, they could feel they are secured because the Israeli army could not go in. And that happened in the year 2014, where Hamas have defended the border of Gaza, and they could succeed the people over there to feel that they are not having a daily raids or night raids against them while they are living in their towns in Gaza Strip. But of course,
Mohammed, can I interrupt you for a second just to say something, because you came to pick me up one day at the Gaza Gaza border. I was very surprised when I went to Gaza how secure it felt. There was it did not have the same tension in Gaza. Now, of course, there wasn't bombing when I was there.
Yeah, okay.
But the day-to-day life in Gaza felt much safer than it did in Jerusalem or than it did in the West Bank, because there were no, except for the rare occasions when the Israelis are bringing their tanks to the border or bombing or whatever.
The reason that they don't have settlers inside Gaza, and that was the big, we call it the big intelligent plan that Sharon have done it. He took out the settlers from Gaza and closed it, which they are living in a jail. But people over there could feel that they are safe. They could not ask the people in the West Bank or Jerusalem, because the Israeli army are always on your head, or settlers. But in Gaza, they are missing the main point of life. They don't have income. They don't have work. They have no open borders, and that's really killing. Now, what happened? Israel, the last years, with Trump administrative in the States, have given them the right to do whatever they want. For us as Palestinians, we believed in peace. In 1994, we signed for the peace treaty as two-state solution. But what happened? 27 years, Palestinians have achieved nothing, zero. Even we lost more than what we were having before even the peace camp, before the peace treaty. People could travel, they could live in Tel Aviv, they could work in Tel Aviv. And now, no way, no chances for them. That is making much more frustration among the Palestinians. But again, the Palestinian Authority is not helping. It's not helping the Palestinians. Neither in Jerusalem or in the West Bank. They are what we call the strong hand of the Israeli intelligence in the West Bank.
Right.
Not helping the Palestinians. To me, as a Palestinian, I would like to see the soldier who is defending and securing the president to be with the farmer in his fields to defend him, because the settlers are attacking, and no one is defending the shepherds or farmers or workers.
Okay. All right. I got that. Okay. But what I want to really drill down on is how does it help for Hamas or Islamic Jihad or whoever it is to send rockets to Israel? How does that help, given the fact that it doesn't affect
the only thing, Peter, is that we as Palestinians believe the only way to achieve peace, it comes from the Israeli community inside Israel. Those are the ones are our partners. They are feeling secure at home. They don't care about what's happening in the West Bank or Gaza. The only way to give them a shock that you cannot live in security and peace and your daily life normal while we are not having this security and normal life for us. You have to stand up for peace together. We cannot just call for peace by ourselves without helping from the other side. We could see that the peace camp in Israel have completely vanished.
Right.
You know, in the time of Rabin, there were more than the 50% in Israel, backing up Mr. Rabin for peace. Now, it turns opposite. We don't have more than 20%, even less than 20% in the Israeli community backing up the peace camp. But the majority in Israel is the right wing. And we could see that the Israeli government is completely right wing and even extreme right wing. And they don't even care about, again, they don't care about the security of the Palestinians. I could see it clearly. When the settlers attack the Palestinians, the army don't show. But when the Palestinians wants to defend themselves, that's where the army will get involved. And so that's why we as Palestinians in the West Bank and in Jerusalem, we need somebody to strengthen our dignity, because this is what have remained for us. The dignity.
Now, I know from having talked to you on previous occasions that you're not a particular fan of Hamas.
You're right.
But in this circumstance, you and other Palestinians think they're doing the right thing, even though that's causing damage in Gaza. People are dying in Gaza because of it. And even though I think, and I understand, even a Palestinian was killed by a Hamas rocket, I think one or two, and a couple of Israelis as well. So you think this is a good thing to do, notwithstanding the damage it's causing?
It's completely a message to the Israeli community.
Mm-hmm.
You have to know that you cannot live insecure while we are not living it.
Mm-hmm.
You have to understand that we are partners in this land. And this is what we are missing, Peter. We could see that Israel is taking more of the land. Just look what is happening in Sheikh Jarrah. People that I know, the families, all of them, my friends, that's where I'm grown in Sheikh Jarrah. All these families, we used to play together, the families over there. And suddenly, because the court says this is a Jewish land, even there's no, documents to prove it. It's a fake document that they have it, and they want to throw them out.
Right.
Now, even though you go to the mosque, you will have a lot of those checkpoints, army, choosing especially the young fellows, beating them while they are just passing, sending them back, brutally. There is no kinds of well treatment for us. people got fed of the situation.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why the Palestinians of Jerusalem have that kinds of rising up as intifada. Because we are not, yes.
I read somewhere a small paragraph saying that even Palestinian citizens of Israel in a variety of towns in Israel, Lod, Nazareth, Haifa,
yeah.
Tell us that doesn't get reported very much in our news. Can you give us a bit of a thumbnail of what's happening?
Now, what is happening over there? They have seen what Israel have done in Jerusalem, especially closing the mosque, beating the people over there, shooting the tear gas and rubber bullets and completely closing. And that makes them, even because this is our holidays, Ramadan is a holidays mostly, and that's why people over there got fed of the situation, because they have seen it in their country, in their own homes, in their own towns. The Israeli police, they don't even care about their safety. A lot of shooting happened. Shooting Palestinians, over 1,000 people have been, over 1,500 people have been shot since 2000.
Any of that outside of Jerusalem? I mean, you're just talking about Jerusalem and the West Bank, or you're talking about inside?
I'm talking about inside Israel. The Palestinian citizens of Israel. The Israeli army, the Israeli police, they don't care about what's happening because they want to kill each other over there.
They want to kill each other? What do you mean?
The Palestinians over there. Because
they want the Palestinians.
Yeah, they don't interfere. They don't check or go deep into see why you are carrying weapons on you and shoot and so on. They could, because the only weapon comes from Israel towards these people. They know it. But when the weapon will turn to their side, to the Israeli settlers who are coming towards their homes in Lud, in Jaffa, that's where the Israeli army will come in. Mm-hmm. But through the years, the Palestinians organization inside Israel, we're talking about the mistreatment of the Israeli police department, that they have to get rid of the crimes inside the Arab cities and towns. They don't care about it. So that was a spark, the mosque, that those people came out to demonstrate against the Israeli way of treating the Palestinians. Because they have seen it. Since 73 years, they are living it.
Yeah.
And now, today, there was shooting in the Lud between the Palestinians because the army didn't defend them yesterday. The Israeli settlers attacked them in the Lud and the army with them. So today, they carried their guns, the Palestinians. But instead, when they were shooting each other, the Israeli army the Israeli police didn't care about it. Now, when they turn their arms shooting the settlers to defend their homes, now the army will go in.
So let me just make sure. So I think a lot of people who are listening may not understand. I'm not sure that I understand clearly. Palestinians, citizens of Israel, are not allowed to have guns, right? Normally they
are not allowed.
But some do, kind of, and criminal elements have guns.
A lot. Okay. And they bought it from the Israeli stores.
And what has been happening for the last couple of years, there's been...
Not couple of years, for a long period of years, people have been shooting each other.
There's been violence inside the Palestinian
towns.
Gang-related...
Yes.
And the complaint is that the police did not intervene there.
No.
But now it's becoming
Now
friction between...
they are turning it towards the Israeli soldiers and the Israeli settlers who attacked them at their own towns. That's what's happening. Okay. Because, again, when it comes to the Israeli police, they cannot, they cannot do anything against the Israeli Jewish citizens. They will just push them back. But when it comes to deal with the Palestinians, you have to open and see a lot of those YouTubes just recently, yesterday and the day before, what they have done to the Palestinian families who have been demonstrating. And you will see how brutally they just treated them.
Could you send me a couple of links?
Sure. Okay. I will let my son send it to you.
Okay. Last thing, Mohammed, you've been generous with your time. Do you think, given all this, do you think you could ever live with Jews?
In one state? Yes, of course. Equal rights? Of course. I'm not against it. All the people here are not against it. But could they understand it? Could they agree with it? The questions to me is, it's okay. I'm ready for it now to live in one state with equal rights. But could they do that with us?
Mm-hmm.
Never, because they think that they are the chosen people and they are the superior. And it's not time for them to live with Arabs. And that's what they are doing. Peter, what is happening? They are, the last years only, the last 2 years, life is completely, especially in the West Bank. It's unbelievable what the Israeli settlers are doing. There's a YouTube, which I will send it to you. Maybe you have seen it. While they were attacking the rabbi, you know him, Eric.
Not sure.
Eric Chairman. Yeah, you know him.
Maybe, I don't. Okay.
He was defending the Palestinian farmers in a town east of Ramallah, where the settlers have beaten them badly. Even he's a Jew, a rabbi. They don't care because they want to take the land over there. Yeah. And he told them, this is the Palestinian land. What you are doing here? He said, no, don't interfere. Okay. So this is what is happening. The army doesn't care about it. Now just imagine, just a week ago, the Israeli government have legalized all these outposts. 130 illegal settlements have been legalized by the new government, by the government. So we could see that the 60% of the West Bank have been annexed to Israel.
Right.
So this is why we are fed of the situation.
It certainly seems to me that the Israeli government and the settlers are taking advantage of the fact that North America is completely obsessed with COVID. That's all that's on our news.
It's not just like that. Yeah. They are taking since Trump.
Yeah.
They took the advantage of Trump's administrative, and also, I cannot believe that the Canadian state, which they are the first defender of the civil rights and the human rights and democracy, they don't look carefully and they don't see it carefully about what's happening in the West Bank and Jerusalem. I don't believe that they are just blindly following the American administrative in its choices for diplomacy. This is really frightening. I told you, Peter, I loved Canada. I just, drove from Toronto to Ottawa or to Montreal. And I haven't seen police. I haven't seen anyone.
Right.
But even if you travel from here to Ramallah, you have to pass through several checkpoints. You have to travel through army, settlements, and all that comes in your way. You never believe what time you will reach your destination.
While the Jewish settlers sail right through, of course.
Oh my God, they are doing a lot. Now they are building a new road, by the way. A new road for the settlers. It's a new road net to connect all the settlements without being disturbed by the Palestinians' vehicles and Palestinians' movement. Which it means they are looking forward to completely separate the Palestinians from the Israeli settlements and to annex most of these land and to have it as part of Israel.
Mohammed, I'm gonna wind up there. I know it's 10:30 your time. Thank you. You keep safe, and my best wishes to you and your family. And thank you for sharing your perspective on these very difficult times.
Thank you, Peter, and also greetings to all of friends back in Canada. Wishing to see you again, either in Palestine or in Canada. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Okay, bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thanks.